All right, welcome back, Robbie Hummel. Welcome back from a long vacation of golfing and gallivanting or whatever else you do in the off season. The season is almost here, and so is the Goodman and Hummel podcast. It is back, and kind of a preseason edition. We're going to get back into the flow. I don't know if you can handle weekly. I'm not sure if are you ready?
I'm ready. I mean,
you can
weekly,
do this.
Daily. Let's get a daily pod going. I've been trying to get you on these, and you just, you said I've been gallivanting around. You're in Columbus. You're in Charleston. I mean, we can't even keep track anymore.
Listen, I'm going where my daughter is looking at schools, and she is not looking in West Lafayette, by the way. Almost every other Big Ten school except for Purdue.
Why no love for Purdue?
All right, so Maryland, really good sports media program. Indiana, really good sports media program. We're going to visit there. Michigan State, really good sports media program.
I did not know that about Michigan State. Indiana and Maryland I knew, but Michigan State.
Very good. Wisconsin.
Northwestern?
Yeah, she can't get into Northwestern. She can't get in.
Oh.
She's not Hummel smart like that,
I wasn't getting in without a hoops ability.
I want to know what were your ACT scores coming out?
I took the SAT.
All right, even better.
I committed Purdue, and I got a 1670 because at that point it was out of 2400. I think now it's back to 1600.
Yeah,
which
she did really well.
It was good enough to get me into school, so it was like,
hey,
pride.
It had nothing to do with your grades or your test scores while you got into school.
Yeah, unknown.
Absolutely nothing. Well, listen, let's kind of get moving here with some news. I mean, the news really has been all about recruiting over the last month or so. Kids are committing left and right at this point, and a big one committed earlier this week, and that was a kid named Derek Lively going to Duke and Jon Scheyer. And Coach K announces he's done after this year. So he's not even out on the recruiting trail this past year.
Wow.
It's Scheyer, it's Chris Carrawell, it's Nolan Smith. And Shirer's going to get all the credit, and he deserves a lot of the credit. They have absolutely crushed it so far. They've got 3 top 10 players. Lively, the number 2 player in the class, behind Shaden Sharp. He is a terrific defender up. Long, 7 feet, block shots. He's kind of the new age big, right? Yeah. Great defensively. And he can also stretch the floor a little bit and score. He's not a great scorer yet. So you put him with this other kid, Kyle Filipowski, also like 7 feet, but like you're almost like a European big.
Mm-hmm.
He can really step out and shoot the hell out of it. And they're both like, they're going to play off each other really well. Then they got a kid, Derek Whitehead, who's top 5-ish, 10-ish. Anyway, Jon Scheyer's killing it. Now, my big question to you is, how much do you think Coach K can help? And obviously the Duke brand is the Duke brand. But, again, Scheyer's doing the brunt of the work here. But when you still have K as the closer and you've got that Duke brand,
true,
obviously it's going to go a long way right now.
Yeah, and I think that the way they've gone about it, where you have 3 Duke guys, I mean, they've all played there. They understand what it takes. I saw somebody tweeted the other day, will Scheyer get the heaven office or whatever?
I tweeted that. That was me.
Oh, yeah. All right.
He will not get the office.
I think it was somebody else. But yeah, I think it's certainly going to be a factor, and that'll be a part of it. But I'd have to say I'm really impressed with Jon.
Yeah,
I mean, I've known him for a long time. I've known him since high school. He was an Illinois Warriors guy, and I played against him in high school, college, professionally. So I've known him a long time, and when you see him take the job, you're like, man, there's just going to be so much pressure and so many things that are going on here where you're following a legend. How'd that work out for Mike Davis in Indiana? How's that worked out for a lot of other people who have had to be in that position? And for Jon to go out and do this, it helps that he's won a national championship as a player at Duke. He's been a part of the coaching staff and coached really good teams. And, he really knows the game. There's no doubt about that.
You know what helps too, Rob? You know what helps too? That he's how old are you?
He's 33. I'm 32.
Right. He's 33 years old. Like you're telling me that doesn't help right now when you're recruiting against, let's face it, like 50, 60.
Well, and his assistants. Nolan's 32 and Carrawell is probably 36, 37.
Yeah, maybe a little older.
A little bit older. But yeah, you have a youth movement. And that, I look at that kind of the way that when Coach Painter was recruiting myself, Scott Martin, Etwan Moore, Juwan Johnson, you look at that and you're like, this guy knows what I'm going through. He's recruiting us in 2005. He played in 1993. That's not that far removed, especially when you're looking at a lot of other coaches that are 50, 55, 60 years old. It's just different. It is a different kind of outlook, and you got to give him a lot of credit, though, because they're beating out some big dogs for these guys.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, you kind of wondered, would the recruiting fall off a cliff? And so far, John has answered with a resounding no.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd fall off a cliff, but I didn't think they'd get 3 top 10 players out of the gates, and beating Kentucky for Derek Lively was absolutely huge. And I'm a huge Nolan Smith guy. Huge. Yeah. I mean, I've said this for a couple of years. Like, coaches call me a lot to ask, like, what do you think of this guy? Who do you think I should hire? I have thrown Nolan's name around for a couple of years now when he's been the ops guy for Duke, saying like he will be an elite recruiter. Everybody loves Nolan Smith.
Yep.
He works hard. He gets it.
I'm right. I'm pretty sure him and John are super good friends. Correct?
They are. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the chemistry on that staff is outstanding. And you're right. They're young. They've got it rolling right now.
Now the big question is now will be Scheyer the coach next year, right? I mean, he's done it on the recruiting trail. It almost puts more pressure on him in a way because next year you're going to go in with 3 top 10 kids.
All right. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the pressure of winning with the shittiest class ever? If they brought in the 100 class.
Yeah. You want
to have some players, right?
Yeah. And he'll have them. It's funny. I mean, when you look at K's resume over the last 10 years, they've only won 1 title over the last 10 years. So for Scheyer's first 10 years, can he win 1 title? Can he win 1 title? And I say he can. I do. I think Jon Scheyer will win a national title, maybe even as soon as in his first 5 years, because, again, now you've got momentum. You needed that in recruiting circles. And you have that. And listen, are they going to win a title in year 1? Maybe not, but they're going to be Duke. They're going to be relevant. They're going to be in the top 25. So ultimately, I think it's going to give them enough momentum that they're going to be able to capitalize in the next class. They already have. I mean, he's already gotten a top player in 2023. So I just think this is going to be something where it's not going to fall off that much. It's really not, Rob. Duke's going to stay Duke, even with Coach K gone, which is crazy to say.
Yeah. I wonder what they're going to look like on the court. When John was there,
they're going to do this. They're going to do more of this.
I know that, and they've done that. But when John was there defensively, they were way different than they are now. Right. We've seen them go 2-3 zone. We've seen them kind of play almost like a kind of a pack line where they backed off you. They used to be full denial. If you're going to beat us, you're going to drive us because you've got guards that can handle us, basically punking you out of your offense. And when you're recruiting that level of kid, and certainly Coach Krzyzewski was getting really good players, but as they've backed off on that, the level of player has certainly gone up. Does John stay with the status quo? And if he's going to recruit like this, I think you probably have to. I also think it'll be fascinating to see what he runs offensively. Because I think right now Duke is about as, and I don't mean this in any type of disrespectful way, they are very vanilla. Right. They are very, very simple. They do not run complex stuff. It's
quick hitters.
And when you've got RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson, it works really good. When you have a team like last year, it cannot look so hot. So I'm curious to see what he's going to look like from an X and O's perspective.
Well, he'll have defensively, he'll have an eraser in year 1 because Derek Lively is that. He is an elite level shot blocker that is super long, plays hard, is only going to get better. And Filipowski is long as hell too. And Whitehead's just like a really, really good I don't want to say glue guy because that's almost diminishing what he is, but he's terrific. I haven't seen.
You're not even going to mention their 4-star recruit.
I haven't seen Jaden Shutt. I know he's from Illinois, so you're gonna.
Isn't he rated like 56?
Yeah, he's rated like 48, but I know from talking to these guys that they think that he's way better than that. That they feel like he's a McDonald's All-American caliber player also, and they're in the mix for 2 more kids. Mark Mitchell is like ranked 11. Their favorite to land him
right here, huh?
And they got 1 more kid, JJ Starling, who's top 40. So by the numbers, this could be an insane class for Jon Scheyer. So my question to you, I gave you a little homework and myself a little homework. And the homework was, we're going to call this fear factor. Okay. And fear factor is your top 5 and my top 5 coaches that you do not want to see on the recruiting trail. Top 5 head coaches that when they walk in the gym, you're just like, oh shit, like we ain't beating this dude. Like there's just no way. I do not want to see him. Let's start. We'll go from 5 to 1. And I know 5 is really, really difficult. But let's start with 5 for you right now. Who would that be?
All right. So I'm bringing hard data here. I know what you're going to do. You're going to literally just throw out the eye test of who you think. Yes. I am actually bringing facts to this argument.
Okay.
5 was tough. And part of it is because with Scheyer, we only have 1 year. And you said right now, but I still think that means you go the last 2 or 3 classes because those are the guys that are on your team right now. So basically, I had it between Scheyer, who's on fire.
Sheyer's on fire. Good one, Rob. Good one.
That's what I'm here for. Juwan Howard, who number 2 class in 2021. Will Wade was thrown in there.
Yep. He should be thrown in there.
He's got the 6th ranked class. 2020 hit the 4th ranked class. And I threw Hubert Davis in there because right now in 2022, now I don't think they've updated Duke's recent haul with Derek Lively, but they had North Carolina's number 2 class. This is 247.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Scheyer. I'm going to go Scheyer is right now my number 5 man. I don't want to see on the recruiting trail, and only, certainly you get 3 5-star kids that are ranked in the top 10, but to me, I don't have enough data to compare him to some of the guys that are putting together 2 and 3 and 4 really good classes in a row.
All right. I am going to go with the eye test here. I'm going to go with a guy that has done it a long, long time. And I'm telling you, when he walks in the gym, dudes are like, fuck this. Like, I'm done. I'm out. And I'm not talking about Slick Rick Stansbury either. He doesn't make the cut. He does not make the cut. He still gets his top 50 dude like every year, it feels like, but
he does.
To me, on the outside, for me, I'll give you the outside guys. Will Wade was close, didn't make the cut. Slick Rick Stansbury, close, did not make the cut. Dana Altman, close, / Nike. We're close.
/ Nike.
Well, I mean, listen, the bottom line, and Mark Few would have been close had he not lost Tommy Lloyd. Like if Mark Few still had Tommy Lloyd, he had a ton of recruiting momentum. So number 5 for me is a guy that's the youngest looking 70-year-old on the planet. That is Leonard Hamilton. I mean, the dude has done it. He knows how to get it done. He goes under the radar, and he's just, I'm telling you, when you ask people around the industry who they do not want to go up against, it is Leonard Hamilton. Like he finds a way, and
what are his rankings? They've
been okay. Yeah, they haven't. I mean, they've done a great job, honestly.
No, they have
evaluated. Devin Vassell, Patrick Williams, Vassell especially.
Perfect guys for the way he wants to play. There's no question about
exactly. That. So, they haven't really gone after that top 10 kid like they did for a while there. But even back in the day, Rob, and you're younger. It might have even been guys that were older than you. I think they are a few years older. I don't know if you remember the names, Jason Rich and Isaiah Swan. Mm-hmm. Remember those names?
Yeah.
That's when I first kind of jumped in, those were dudes. And he was just getting guys. Isaiah Swan was like a top 10 player coming out of Maryland for a while. So I go Leonard at number 5. All right. So you're number 4?
See, you discarded Mark Few.
I did.
I'm looking at this. He's got
2
top 6 classes the last 2 years, 2 Final Fours the last 5 years. The data speaks for itself.
Tommy Lloyd is gone, Robbie. Tommy Lloyd is in Tucson
We
now.
cannot look into the future. I mean, we'll see. Time will tell.
Okay.
I'm going Mark Few at 4 because I think the momentum that their program has is so substantial.
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Holmgren
that.
literally is, I mean, he's like Kevin Durant 2.0. You're just going to throw that aside.
I'm saying after this. I'm saying now. Like walking in the gym now, I'm not nearly as scared of Mark Few as I am right now of my next guy. And my next guy is Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
You know, number 4, Juwan Howard. You talk about, again, having everything to sell right now. I mean, he sells NBA big man. He sells winning. He sells the Michigan brand, which goes nationally. You know that as well as anyone.
No, he's making it super cool to go to Michigan.
Yes.
Not that it wasn't for John Beilein. He got players too, but I hear you.
I mean, again, like in Juwan, like everybody loves Juwan Howard, other than I think Mark Turgeon. Everybody else loves Juwan Howard. So to me, again, it is cool to play for Juwan Howard at Michigan. And oh, by the way, he's putting out some pretty good players.
Totally.
You know, so I go Juwan Howard at 4. Who you got at 3?
Outside the box right here. I'm going Rick Barnes at Tennessee.
Oh,
Dude,
whoa.
Look at the numbers. Class of
When did you
21.
become such an analytics guy?
Because this is how I look at recruiting. I'm a player. I am not a coach. So when you said do some homework, I was like, all right, who's got the best classes over the last 3 years?
All right.
2021, he's got the 4th best recruiting class in the country. 2020, he's got the 5th best. So he's got 2 straight top 5 classes. And certainly Bruce Pearl had done a good job of getting players at Tennessee, but let's not act like their men's program has been like some powerhouse over the last 30 years. I mean, they've been good at times, but I think Rick Barnes has done a great job.
He has.
Here's the guy that recruited Kevin Durant.
Here's what I'll say. No, Rick Barnes, listen, Rick Barnes' early years at Texas, he was a killer. Like he worked his ass off. He was a killer. He would have been in my top 5 then. He is not in my top 5 now, especially I think part of it too, the staff has turned over a little bit. They lose Kim English after a couple of years. Des Oliver. They both
top 6 classes just throw them out the window. Huh?
I don't see this continuing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see this continuing. And that's kind of my deal is like, all right, who today they come in that gym, you're terrified. I put Scheyer at 3. Scheyer and Duke for me are all the way at 3, just because again, that Duke name carries so much weight. You've still got Coach K in that palatial office that he's got, which I know you've never been invited to.
I've been there.
You've been in it?
Yes, I've been there. I visited Duke.
Did you sneak in?
No. Chris Collins took me up there. And actually,
I don't believe this.
We can call him and he'll verify. My mom can also verify because this is I don't know. Coach Collins might not recall saying this, and he might deny this forever. But my mom, I'm on a visit to Duke. This is where Coach Krzyzewski thought I was from California, so he wasn't seriously recruiting me. And Chris is giving us a tour around the offices, and we go up to his office, and my mom was like, "Wow, this is like the stairwell up to heaven," because the stairs go like up the. And I swear, Coach Collins was like, "Mrs. Hummel, this is heaven." He might deny that, but my mom will swear by it.
Oh man. Well, listen, wherever Scheyer's office is, it doesn't really matter because he's got the Duke brand, the brotherhood behind him. And as we talked about already, yes, you laugh with the brotherhood, but it is real. I fought Jason Tatum on the brotherhood for like pregame. I make fun of him all the time about the brotherhood. So, but it is real. The brand is real. And now, as we've talked about, we don't need to go into it anymore. They've got recruiting momentum, and he's actually doing it. So he's number 3 for me. I can't wait to see who you leave out now, because you're going to have to leave out one of 3 guys that I can't believe. Like you could possibly leave one of these 3 out of your top 5. This is going to be a catastrophe on your part.
We'll see.
Number two.
This is a toss-up for me. I went with Penny Hardaway. He's got 2 of the last 3 top classes in the country. He's gotten big time players. He's gotten, Amani Bates, Jalen Duran,
Yep.
James Wiseman, and certainly the results haven't maybe matched the recruiting. And maybe this is the year where you see if that kind of all comes together for Memphis. But it was hard to leave Penny outside the number 1 spot. But I just think that when you look at my other guy, it makes sense.
Yeah, I have Penny at number 2 also. And for all the reasons you already mentioned, he's proven it, right? I mean, who wouldn't want, like, as cool as Juwan Howard is?
No, yes. Totally.
Penny's cooler. Penny's the coolest coach in America. Like, you just look at him. He was out, I saw him on the AU circuit, and he's sitting there, and you're just looking over there. You're like, I don't know. Like, I want to be Penny Hardaway.
His swagger is off the charts.
Ridiculous.
I mean, he's wearing, exclusive Nike shoes with his suits at the games because this is actually a dude that has had his own shoe from Nike.
You remember when we saw him? You and I were both at the UCF Memphis game a couple of years ago. You remember pregame?
Yeah. Yes.
He's just sitting there with headphones on.
Yeah, like a player.
Like a player on the bench.
Beast headphones on, just
in warm-ups.
Like he's about to go
and
out and get 30.
Honestly, he probably could have beaten the hell out of UCF.
He probably could still get 30 points. He looks like he could still get 30 points.
Yes.
But
the other thing,
commercials, the shoes, his career, I think everybody kind of understands that if injuries don't happen, he's one of the elite talents of the last 30 years.
And by the way, who's got a better staff than Penny Hardaway right now?
I mean, Rasheed Wallace. Hilarious. I can't wait to see how many texts will Rasheed Wallace get for the bench this year.
Oh my God. It's going to be so entertaining.
Yeah, and then Larry Brown and
Cody Topper.
Poor Cody Topper. Sorry, Cody.
We want to give you the love, Cody, but unfortunately, you're on the staff with Penny Hardaway, Larry Brown, and Rasheed Wallace. So you honestly, you might as well be the towel boy. I don't care how good you are at what you do. You are overshadowed by 3 elite, players, coaches. So yeah, I'm with you. Penny's going to keep getting dudes unless they really flop this year. They got to be good enough this year and entertaining enough, and
they got to be better offensively. They have guarded people. They have got to find a way to score and make some shots. And
well, that's going to be the interesting thing.
They have been brutal to watch.
What do you run when you don't have a true point guard, which they don't?
That's going to be the thing. Alex Lomax.
No, it's Amani Bates. Amani Bates is going to be
the thing, because Tyler Harris and Alex Lomax are probably the
backups,
weakest link of that team. And not probably. They are the weakest link of that team.
Amani Bates will be the point guard to start the year up. He will. And he's not a natural point guard, but who better to learn from than another 6', 8-ish, now Penny was a natural point guard the way he handled the ball. That's the difference. Is Amani.
Yeah. And there are some instinctual things that come into play there. But if there's going to be someone to teach you, that's the guy.
Right. All right. So number 1, to me, for you, it's either John Calipari or Juwan Howard.
Yeah, it's John Calipari. I was looking at it from a class perspective, and looking at it, I do agree that Juwan Howard is a major oversight for my homework. But Cal has done, you look at his classes, top class in 2020, second class in 2019. 247 had him as the current number 1 class. I think Duke will overtake that when they update it. But when you even look at his worst class in 2021, he's 10th. But think about the transfers he got.
Right.
C.J. Frederick, Oscar Sheboy, the kid from
Ellen
Davis, Ellen Grady. Yeah. So, I mean, those are 3 legitimate college basketball players that, when you factor that in, that's a top 2 or 3 class in the country again. So he still is the best at doing it. He probably has been in the top 2 or 3 for the last 25 years. For a long time.
It feels like since he got Derrick Rose.
Yeah, no doubt.
At Memphis, that's when it put him on the map. And then he just used momentum, goes to Kentucky, brings John Wall and Boogie with him and Bledsoe. And then again, momentum's everything. He's never really lost it. But this year, the interesting thing is Cal more motivated now because of last season, right? Like last season was such a train wreck. Right. Did this motivate him a little bit? And then also you've got two coaches in Orlando Antigua who he knew, and Chin Coleman, who did a really good job getting talent to Champaign.
Totally. His staff is excellent. I will say, in defense to my Juwan Howard omission, he doesn't have the years to back it up. 2020 is the 14th class, 2021 the second class. In 2022, they got him at 14. So I understand your point. The eye test, he is top 5.
The fear
factor. The data might say that he is not.
Listen, all right. I'm going to give you a mulligan here. I'm going to give you a complete mulligan. You use the data. You were Harry Analytics for your top 5 here. Now I'm going to give you the fear factor top 5 for Robbie Hummel. What is the fear factor? Give me your top 5 of who you do not want to see going up against you. You're a head coach and you do not want to see them. Give me your top 5 now.
All right. So my 1 and 2 stay the same. John Calipari 1, Penny Hardaway 2. I would say Juwan Howard 3.
Yeah.
I might put Will Wade in there, honestly, just because
he is scary. I mean, listen, the dude's gotten.
I would say Will Wade 4, and I'll go Jon Scheyer 5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fear factor is there with Will Wade. I mean, period.
He gets
it. People could say what they want about him. The dude does work his ass off. Like he really does. Like he's got that work ethic. And again, like I know people think he cheats. Obviously, with everything that's gone on, there's a lot of smoke there, but he has gotten stuff done. He has gotten a lot of good players and a lot of those guys have that. It really surprised me early, Rob, when a lot of these guys, whether it was Will Wade, Sean Miller, Bruce Pearl, all the people that had gone through some of the federal investigation or other things that kind of came up in Will Wade's case, other allegations. I feel Andy Enfield. I mean, they were all involved and they've all thrived. Like you could make a case that Andy Enfield is in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten player upon player and he's done an incredible job recruiting. So I don't think it's honestly
it's a crazy name that we didn't even broach.
Who
is Bill Self?
Well, right now you're not scared of Kansas and Bill Self.
No, I hear you, but it's amazing that his teams are still. I mean, he's a really good coach, but you're not even talking about him in that. And certainly,
they've been the one that got hurt. They've been. If you tell me, like again, Will Wade has continued to do it. Bruce Pearl's continued to do it. All the other Sean Miller did it. Recruited at a pretty high level. You got Nico Mannion, Josh Green, and Zeke Naji. The one guy that I think has fallen off is Kansas and Bill Self. Part of it being that they were an Adidas school, and I think that hurt them.
The transfer portal has saved them.
Saved a lot of schools.
Awesome this year. They are going to be phenomenal.
Well, as long as Remy Martin is a winning Remy Martin.
Yeah, and that's certain. But look at the talent that they have stockpiled. They've got just a ton of guys that have been really good college players. Yeah, like just and again, that's been my take over the last year or two is like Kansas's recruiting has fallen off and they don't have those lottery picks. They're not churning those out or even the first round. But no, not that he has won without lottery picks.
A lot of times. Agreed.
2012.
Yep.
They go to the national championship and their best player is Thomas Robinson.
It was crazy. And Tyshawn Taylor.
Tyshawn Taylor, Elijah Johnson, Jeff Withey.
Yep.
I don't think they didn't have a single McDonald's All-American.
No, but he's also had some years where obviously, Embiid and Wiggins, he's brought in Brandon Rush, Darrell Arthur. I mean, he's had stretches. It's funny.
I'm not saying he doesn't ever get talent. I'm just saying he wins regardless.
And he'll win this year. Again, I mean, even last year, they weren't very good last year.
They went to the Sweet 16. Second round? No,
they got knocked out. Yeah.
Second round, they lost to USC.
They did. and they got run off the court.
I did the game. It was horrible.
Yes, I was there too. I think I left early in that one.
That was the Thad Mata game.
Oh, yes. That was
Titus is still mad at you, by the way, for that. Probably he's still not happy.
Well, he probably still thinks they're going to get Brad Stevens. He
might still be coming.
I got to go to Indiana in a couple of weeks. How do you think those fans are going to treat me?
I'm sure you'll be. Are you going to the football game?
No football game that weekend. It's a weekend that my daughter has that Monday off from school, so we had to figure it out. She's
it's probably.
So I may have to wear a disguise.
I'd be ready to kill you.
Should I wear a disguise?
Hey, you know what? The fans in Bloomington are brutal.
Brutal.
I had a guy, my first game I ever did there. I'm sitting. They didn't have me do a game in Assembly Hall. I didn't even do an Indiana game my first year.
Really?
Didn't do a game in Assembly Hall until my second year. I'm sitting at the table with Brandon Gaud, and I'm looking at my notes. And this guy taps me on the shoulder. I got my headset on, so I'm actually doing something.
Yeah.
Take my headset off, and this guy goes, "It's a tragedy that they're going to let you call the game on this floor." And I literally thought he was kidding. I seriously thought he was joking. So I was like, "Hey, man, I'm just here to do my job and whatever." And he literally points to the top of Assembly Hall and goes, "They should make you call the game from up there." Literally just kept it moving. I was like, "This is a different animal down here." That's just really you might want to get this guys.
You know what? That may be our next show, and I've done it. I've actually done it and pissed off a lot of fan bases. My top 10. I think I've done top 10 most annoying Twitter fan bases. And Indiana is certainly up there. And it changes with me. It really changes with me because, some crazy fan bases really like me and have liked me over the years. So they don't make the cut and they get upset. I don't know. I don't know if there are any left.
I was going to say.
I'm not sure.
I've yet to find that one.
I'm trying to think who's I think they like Purdue.
Purdue likes you?
Purdue likes me. I've never, I think back to the days of you, I think they liked me then. I haven't.
Yeah, I probably did back then.
Other than the time I put Painter on the hot seat, I think then they probably didn't like me. Maybe. You know that? How about that? I put Matt Painter on the hot seat one year.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing how I guess after the two kind of down years he had, he's just totally.
And you know what the greatest thing of that was? Painter. Literally, the next time I talked to him, I think I told him that. I don't know if he probably had already been told by somebody, but I think I mentioned it to him, and he was like, "I deserve to be in the hot seat."
I will say the thing that I really appreciate about Coach Painter is that I know that I could say anything during a Purdue game if I'm doing it, and he's never going to call me and be like, "Why did you say that?"
Right.
Whereas a lot of these coaches, if they had a former player who was doing games and you said anything negative, they would be like, "Why did you say that about me?"
Right. No, I hear the stories.
Let's go the other way and be like, "If that's what you think and that's what you're saying, say it more."
Right.
Like if you think we suck on defense, say it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate him for that because I think a lot of coaches would not be that way with their former players.
I completely agree. All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes on Ben Simmons and his situation before we sign off here. Obviously it's a mess there. The end of the season, the playoffs, they couldn't put him on the floor. Doc Rivers took him off the floor because he couldn't make a shot. Whether it was a regular
basket.
Yeah, didn't even look at the basket. Now he's not going to report to camp. No surprise. I mean, why would he report to camp, right?
Called out by his head coach. The fans hate him. They've been trying to trade him all summer. The trades have been leaking like a sieve. So that's coming from somewhere, and I'm sure he thinks it's coming from Philly. The only reason that I'd be like, dude, you should report is because they owe you $33 million. Like, why are you just donating your money back? And I think I read today that if he were to not show up for the first 30 days, they could discredit him a year of service. Like he would not, which when you look at the 401k, the pension,
Yeah.
The annuity, you look at all the stuff you get for playing a year.
Yeah.
You should, no matter how much money you get, you should definitely make sure you get your service. But to negate it, he could have a surgery.
Oh, no way.
Literally have. So if it's a medically, I was reading, if it's a medical deal,
Yeah.
and in the article I read, I forget who wrote it. I wish I could remember. It said every NBA guy could find something. Hey, my shoulder is a little, my knee needs a scope. And I'm not saying like season-ending ACL surgery that you find, but like, hey, something. He could have surgery, and it would push his clock back, and also tank his value.
Well, maybe if he doesn't show up, maybe we can get him on the pod next week. I mean, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll try to we'll give him the invite. We'll give him the invite to at least.
All right, we'll start working the back channels here to see if Ben Simmons will come on with us, talk some Philly.
I got good back channel there. I can work a good back channel.
It starts with Will Wade. He's high on our fear factor. So
I'm not going Will Wade for Ben Simmons. Johnny Jones was the one who coached him. Remember.
Coward.
I'm not going there for Ben Simmons, but listen, it'll get done. We both know that, because the longer Philly waits, the more his trade value goes down at this point. Yeah. So at this point, you're going to have to make a move if you're Daryl Morey. You might as well make it now, because ultimately you're probably going to get what you're going to get at this point.
How old is Ben Simmons? 23?
Yeah, maybe 20 when they come out.
I mean, isn't it amazing that some people could be like, this dude's done? He's 23 years old.
Well, the problem everybody says about Ben Simmons is obviously it's not his talent level. And I've seen him shoot it in practice. Like, I've been to practice and shoot it.
Videos on Twitter where it's like, it looks pretty good.
It's not bad. The problem that everybody says with Ben Simmons is he just doesn't work hard enough off the court. He just doesn't put enough time in off the court.
Don't you think that a lot of that probably is a product of, I don't want to say AAU because I hate when people blame all of that for that, but it's definitely a product of the amount of money that guys are making so early.
Sure.
$30 million. Like,
I mean, Andrew Wiggins doesn't guard because they paid him $30 million when he never guarded. So why is he going to guard?
Dude has so many tools to guard at the highest level.
But if you already gave somebody $30 million and they had already done this and you got paid $30 million, well, you don't have to do this. You're just like, all right, what I'm doing obviously is pretty good.
If you don't pay him, somebody else will. So then you don't even have him on the team.
I know.
So really, you're in, it's, and some guys I truly believe play because they love the game, like a Kobe Bryant type deal. You could pay him probably whatever, and he would play. Yeah. But a lot of these guys don't love playing. Yeah. They love what comes along with playing. And who doesn't love getting paid $30 million? I'm sure it's phenomenal. But no, I think it's crazy. It's crazy that you can go like that and just be like, well, he just doesn't work hard.
I like Ben. I mean, I do. I like Ben a lot. I remember spending the first day he played at LSU, his game day. First game, I went down there and just spent the day with him. We played pool. We hung out, and I like Ben. I think he gets a bad rap. He's different. He's definitely different. And, I remember him telling me even then, he was like, listen, my goal was never to go to college. My goal was always NBA growing up in Australia. Like, he didn't want to play college basketball. He had no choice. Yeah. So, he's there now. And I just hope, and I've always kind of questioned, like, why, when this many people are telling you can't shoot, when somebody says, and you're competitive, you can't do this, what do? Like, generally, you're going to say, screw them. I'm going to show everybody I can shoot.
Don't you think it could be more than just like, I mean, he might be putting in time on it. It's a lot of mental. It's like Chuck Knobloch not able to throw it from second to first base. Like, that's a lot of it. And the high pressure situations of playing in the playoffs and being on a team that contends. And
then I blame Brett Brown and Doc for it, because to me, the only way you get rid of that is in the regular season to say, like, Ben, you're going to shoot 3 threes every game, or else what? I don't know what you do.
As a player, when you go out there and you take 3 threes and you miss them and they're not even close and you're not that good of a shooter anyway.
Right. I know, but you're already there,
They
Rob.
can say that all they want. Doc Rivers could be like, Ben, you're going to shoot 3 threes a game. And when the pressure ratchets up, it could be totally a different ballgame.
But what if he makes them? What if he makes 1 out of 3 in the regular season?
What if he misses 15 consecutive?
Then he's where he is now. He's in the same damn spot.
I know, but I'm telling you, like, especially today with the way Twitter is and like how accessible these guys are, they're getting murdered. He's getting murdered.
He is, but he's getting murdered anyway.
To it. You can blame Doc Rivers and Brett Brown if you want, but I'm sure they're telling him, dude, shoot the ball.
I'm sure they are too.
Yes. I'm guessing they're not being like, yo, don't take those. Take a step in and shoot the worst shot in basketball. They're not saying that.
Right.
Like,
no, you're right. I'm sure. I know Brett. I know Doc. I'm sure you're right. They're both telling him it, but I feel like you have to like try something different. Somehow.
At the end of the day, you've got to go out there and play. Like, and I just know, especially guys that when you're shooting, it can get really mental, you know. And at least with him, he's got other things. You know, he's not just a 3-point shooter. Where I've seen it go that way with guys that are good shooters, where it's like, this is my job. And I used to like get to touch the ball a little bit, but now I just stand in the corner and I shoot and I don't make them. And
make those.
Think about this: like when I was playing in the NBA, if I had a game where I played, let's say, 12 minutes, and game A, I played 12 minutes in both games, game A, game B. Game A, I go 1 for 4, 3 points.
Yep.
Game B, I go 2 for 5. 6 points. I'd be like, game B, I played great. And in game A, I'd be like, man, I sucked.
Yeah.
I was terrible tonight. 1 for 4. It's this, and when your percentage matters that much, not to Ben Simmons, he can be a volume guy. He can just shoot them. But for guys that are like, man, I got to shoot 38, 39, 40%. Otherwise, what am I doing out here? You know?
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot more than just
I get it.
Doc being like, yo, shoot the ball 3 times.
I don't know. Maybe he's got to give him a steak dinner or something every night. He shoots 3 threes. Find something Ben Simmons likes that he can't afford. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
Every time he shoots 3 threes,
whatever it is, I don't know. Maybe send him some.
He can afford a Ferrari. There's nothing that. I mean, he's making $30 million a year.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Well, listen. Good to have you back in the fold. Good to have you back. I know your golf game has gotten so much better. You're playing every day. I mean, every day.
I mean, I can't even deny it. I have played a lot of golf.
Have you played with anybody like any of your boys? Any good? Like Scott Martin? Any good?
Scott is a bad golfer.
Bad golfer.
Bad player.
We need golf rankings of coaches, I think.
Yeah, I think actually he's a pretty good player. I haven't played with him, but Chris Collins, Northwestern's a good golfer.
You know who's good? I think Greg McDermott is good.
Yes, he's really good.
Right.
Brad Underwood is also a good player from what I hear.
Yeah. Can Painter play at all?
No, he doesn't play. I think he just said he wasn't very good at it and got frustrated and
put it away. All right,
yeah, we should. I'd be interested to see who the best golfing coaches in college basketball.
I don't know if they would know. Like, I don't know where you'd find that out.
The problem is no one plays together.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, occasionally they probably do.
Like a coaches versus cancer type.
Yeah, exactly. Some event. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that's really probably Penny. Penny's probably the best golfer.
Hey, retired basketball players normally are
right. I mean,
got lots of time, especially.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I bet Penny. I'm putting Penny in at number 1.
He's probably pretty good.
All right. Well, we will see you next week. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you watch every week. We will be back hopefully every single week, as long as Rob doesn't, go to the golf course without me knowing.
I can make time at night for you.
I know you can, and I appreciate you doing that. So we'll see you next week, and I'm sure we'll eventually have some news within college hoops.